GECCU is making home ownership easier for its members with the Peters Hope Affordable Housing Project. Live the dream! Dream number 1. Land only with lowered land loan rates and discounts. Live the dream! Dream number 2. Add-ons to encourage home construction. These add-ons are based on floor space and the members' income brackets with increased savings options, competitive rates as low as 5%, reduced fees, and top-up share savings. All packages can be customized to meet individual needs. Live the dream! These offers are only available to GECCU members who are first-time homeowners. So, partner with GECCU and live the dream!
Discover the enchanting GECCU River 14 Recreational Park, a hidden gem nestled in the heart of South Rivers. Looking to celebrate a special occasion such as a wedding or wedding reception, our versatile pavilion and open space is the ideal venue for your memorable events. Or capture the full River 14 experience by booking the entire compound, unlocking a world of enjoyment for you and your guests. River 14 is more than just a location. It's a paradise for all ages, offering everything from tranquil relaxation to joyful celebrations. Reserve your spot at GECCU's River 14 now, where every moment is an opportunity to create lasting memories.
GECCU is making home ownership easier for its members with the Peters Hope Affordable Housing Project. Live the dream! Dream number 1. Land only with lowered land loan rates and discounts. Live the dream! Dream number 2. Add-ons to encourage home construction. These add-ons are based on floor space and the members' income brackets with increased savings options, competitive rates as low as 5%, reduced fees, and top-up share savings. All packages can be customized to meet individual needs. Live the dream! These offers are only available to GECCU members who are first-time homeowners. So, partner with GECCU and live the dream!
Discover the enchanting GECCU River 14 Recreational Park, a hidden gem nestled in the heart of South Rivers. Looking to celebrate a special occasion such as a wedding or wedding reception, our versatile pavilion and open space is the ideal venue for your memorable events. Or capture the full River 14 experience by booking the entire compound, unlocking a world of enjoyment for you and your guests. River 14 is more than just a location. It's a paradise for all ages, offering everything from tranquil relaxation to joyful celebrations. Reserve your spot at GECCU's River 14 now, where every moment is an opportunity to create lasting memories.
GECCU is making home ownership easier for its members with the Peters Hope Affordable Housing Project. Live the dream! Dream number 1, land only with lowered land loan rates and discounts. Live the dream! Dream number 2, add-ons to encourage home construction. These add-ons are based on floor space and the members' income brackets with increased savings options, competitive rates as low as 5%, reduced fees, and top-up share savings. All packages can be customized to meet individual needs. Live the dream! These offers are only available to GECCU members who are first-time homeowners. So, partner with GECCU and live the dream!
Discover the enchanting GECCU River 14 Recreational Park, a hidden gem nestled in the heart of South Rivers. Looking to celebrate a special occasion such as a wedding or wedding reception, our versatile pavilion and open space is the ideal venue for your memorable events. Or capture the full River 14 experience by booking the entire compound, unlocking a world of enjoyment for you and your guests. River 14 is more than just a location. It's a paradise for all ages, offering everything from tranquil relaxation to joyful celebrations. Reserve your spot at GECCU's River 14 now, where every moment is an opportunity to create lasting memories.
GECCU is making home ownership easier for its members with the Peters Hope Affordable Housing Project. Live the dream! Dream number 1, land only with lowered land loan rates and discounts. Live the dream! Dream number 2, add-ons to encourage home construction. These add-ons are based on floor space and the members' income brackets with increased savings options, competitive rates as low as 5%, reduced fees, and top-up share savings. All packages can be customized to meet individual needs. Live the dream! These offers are only available to GECCU members who are first-time homeowners. So, partner with GECCU and live the dream!
Discover the enchanting GECCU River 14 Recreational Park, a hidden gem nestled in the heart of South Rivers. Looking to celebrate a special occasion such as a wedding or wedding reception, our versatile pavilion and open space is the ideal venue for your memorable events. Or capture the full River 14 experience by booking the entire compound, unlocking a world of enjoyment for you and your guests. River 14 is more than just a location. It's a paradise for all ages, offering everything from tranquil relaxation to joyful celebrations. Reserve your spot at GECCU's River 14 now, where every moment is an opportunity to create lasting memories.
GECCU is making home ownership easier for its members with the Peters Hope Affordable Housing Project. Live the dream! Dream number one, land only with lowered land loan rates and discounts. Live the dream! Dream number two, add-ons to encourage home construction. These add-ons are based on floor space and the members' income brackets with increased savings options, competitive rates as low as 5%, reduced fees, and top-up share savings. All packages can be customized to meet individual needs. Live the dream! These offers are only available to GECCU members who are first-time homeowners. So, partner with GECCU and live the dream!
Discover the enchanting GECCU River 14 Recreational Park, a hidden gem nestled in the heart of South Rivers. Looking to celebrate a special occasion such as a wedding or wedding reception, our versatile pavilion and open space is the ideal venue for your memorable events. Or capture the full River 14 experience by booking the entire compound, unlocking a world of enjoyment for you and your guests. River 14 is more than just a location. It's a paradise for all ages, offering everything from tranquil relaxation to joyful celebrations. Reserve your spot at GECCU's River 14 now, where every moment is an opportunity to create lasting memories.
GECCU is making home ownership easier for its members with the Peters Hope Affordable Housing Project. Live the dream! Dream number one, land only with lowered land loan rates and discounts. Live the dream! Dream number two, add-ons to encourage home construction. These add-ons are based on floor space and the members' income brackets with increased savings options, competitive rates as low as 5%, reduced fees, and top-up share savings. All packages can be customized to meet individual needs. Live the dream! These offers are only available to GECCU members who are first-time homeowners. So, partner with GECCU and live the dream!
Discover the enchanting GECCU River 14 Recreational Park, a hidden gem nestled in the heart of South Rivers. Looking to celebrate a special occasion such as a wedding or wedding reception, our versatile pavilion and open space is the ideal venue for your memorable events. Or capture the full River 14 experience by booking the entire compound, unlocking a world of enjoyment for you and your guests. River 14 is more than just a location. It's a paradise for all ages, offering everything from tranquil relaxation to joyful celebrations. Reserve your spot at GECCU's River 14 now, where every moment is an opportunity to create lasting memories.
GECCU is making home ownership easier for its members with the Peters Hope Affordable Housing Project. Live the dream! Dream number 1, land only with lowered land loan rates and discounts. Live the dream! Dream number 2, add-ons to encourage home construction. These add-ons are based on floor space and the members' income brackets with increased savings options, competitive rates as low as 5%, reduced fees, and top-up share savings. All packages can be customized to meet individual needs. Live the dream! These offers are only available to GECCU members who are first-time homeowners. So, partner with GECCU and live the dream!
Discover the enchanting GECCU River 14 Recreational Park, a hidden gem nestled in the heart of South Rivers. Looking to celebrate a special occasion such as a wedding or wedding reception, our versatile pavilion and open space is the ideal venue for your memorable events. Or capture the full River 14 experience by booking the entire compound, unlocking a world of enjoyment for you and your guests. River 14 is more than just a location. It's a paradise for all ages, offering everything from tranquil relaxation to joyful celebrations. Reserve your spot at GECCU's River 14 now, where every moment is an opportunity to create lasting memories.
GECCU is making home ownership easier for its members with the Peters Hope Affordable Housing Project. Live the dream! Dream number 1, land only with lowered land loan rates and discounts. Live the dream! Dream number 2, add-ons to encourage home construction. These add-ons are based on floor space and the members' income brackets with increased savings options, competitive rates as low as 5%, reduced fees, and top-up share savings. All packages can be customized to meet individual needs. Live the dream! These offers are only available to GECCU members who are first-time homeowners. So, partner with GECCU and live the dream!
Discover the enchanting GECCU River 14 Recreational Park, a hidden gem nestled in the heart of South Rivers. Looking to celebrate a special occasion such as a wedding or wedding reception, our versatile pavilion and open space is the ideal venue for your memorable events. Or capture the full River 14 experience by booking the entire compound, unlocking a world of enjoyment for you and your guests. River 14 is more than just a location. It's a paradise for all ages, offering everything from tranquil relaxation to joyful celebrations. Reserve your spot at GECCU's River 14 now, where every moment is an opportunity to create lasting memories.
With your presence today. My name is Danielle Francis. I am the Senior Marketing Officer at GECCU, and we are very happy to have you here for our 60th anniversary lecture. At this time, I would like to invite my colleague, Keisha Johnson, to start us off with a word of prayer.
Let us pray. Great is thy faithfulness, and morning by morning new mercies we have seen. All that we have needed, thy hands have provided. Father, indeed, you would have provided for us as GECCU. Lord, we thank you for the many years that you have brought us thus far, 60 years. We give you all the honor, we give you all the praise. And this afternoon, dear Father, as we gathered here for our 60th anniversary lecture, Father, we place it into your hands, dear God. We ask that you continue to bless the board, the management, and staff of GECCU, dear Father. And today we bring our keynote speaker, a very special man, dear Father, to GECCU, dear Father, Mr. Lennox Bowman. Dear Father, I ask that you continue to bless him from the crown of his head to the sole of his feet, dear God. And Father, the knowledge that he's going to impact on us, may we continue to use it, dear Father. Father, I pray when we leave here today that you take us all to our home safely. This I pray in not a name, but the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. I pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Kindly remain standing for the national anthem, which will be played by panelist Saeed Bowman. Thank you very much, Saeed. You may have your seats. This lecture this afternoon is dedicated to our late treasurer, former treasurer, Brother Charles McIntosh, and it is dedicated to him for the work that he did as a volunteer of GECCU for many years. The theme of the lecture is A Gem We've Built Together, and we are so proud to be here with you, those of you joining online, so that you can witness what it is for a gem to be created and to be sustained by GECCU. At this time, I would like to invite my CEO, Sister Maxine Richards-Johnny, as she brings the welcome remarks. Please welcome Mrs. Johnny.
Thank you, Danielle. Acting Registrar of Cooperatives, Mr. Kwesi Keto. Representative of Cooperative League, Sister Miriam Roach. Other members of the Board of Directors of the Cooperative League. President of Sister Credit Union, I recognize Brother Timothy Scott. Chief Executive Officers of Sister Credit Union, and I recognize Brother Eron Evans of KCCU. Past Presidents of GECCU. Current President of GECCU, Brother Michael Sayers. Members of the Board of Directors of GECCU. Other stakeholders, and I want to recognize Mrs. Nandi Williams from Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Nandi Williams Morgan. Other special invited guests, committee members of GECCU, management and staff, GECCU members present, and those viewing online, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my privilege to welcome you to this important event in our 60th anniversary celebration under the theme, A Gem We Have Built Together. This evening lecture is particularly special as it is in honor of our late treasurer, Brother Charles McIntosh. His dedication and service were instrumental in the growth of this institution, and we honor his memory this afternoon. We started the celebration in February of this year. We started with a church service, and we had a year-long celebration planned. We were supposed to do an activity every month. But I must say that this year, since we started, has brought us both remarkable achievements and unexpected challenges that disrupted services at several of our branches and the lives of several of our members. We had an attempted robbery and significant damage caused by burial, especially to the Southern Grenadines. These events, they tested us. They tested the fabric of GECCU. But through it all, we have remained committed to our members and staff. We continue to support our staff and members, especially those who are directly affected, as they recover from these experiences. Since then, we have reopened most of the affected offices, and we are working earnestly on the reopening of our Union Island office. As we gather here this afternoon, we celebrate not only our history, but also the collective spirit that has made GECCU what it is today, a beacon of trust and stability in our community. And on this note, I would like to state my profound appreciation to all of you, our volunteers, our staff, our members, and external stakeholders and partners. You are the pillars and the bedrock of this credit union, and your hard work and dedication and unwavering support have been instrumental to our journey. So as we reflect on our legacy, let us all take this opportunity to look ahead, fortified by the same spirit of collaboration and shared purpose that has brought us this far. Today we are privileged to have with us our former CEO, Brother Lennox Bowman, who will share his insights and experiences that help shape the foundation of the great institution. He is the man of the hour. So I will end here. Thank you for joining us, and once again, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Johnny. We will now welcome GECCU's current president, Brother Michael Says, as he brings brief remarks.
Pleasant good evening. Thank you very much, Sister Donnelly. And protocol has already been established, but I also want to say welcome to each and everyone who took the time out to be here today. 60 years to have an anniversary, and it is entitled under the theme, A Gem We've Built Together. A gem is built under immense pressure. And over the years, GECCU has undergone many changes. We have endured many challenges. We have overcome immense pressure in so many different areas. But we are still here. And we are here because of the grace of God, but we are also here because of the hard work and the dedication of each and every individual who has helped to build GECCU. It is not just about those who started, because yes, the foundation is important, but the building is not complete just because there is a foundation. You must have a strong foundation. But the building also requires that you have walls, that there is a roof, and that you have the correct facilities inside of it that will allow you to use the building properly. When we look at GECCU and we look at the gem that we have built together, it is important that we recognize that it is still incomplete. It is still something that we must continue to work on. It is still something that we must continue to be dedicated to. It is still something that we must see as precious, that requires constant nurturing. You heard our CEO mention the challenges that we had just this year. And this is just 1 year. And over the 60 years, we have had many challenges. And it is important, even as we go from here, that we don't think to ourselves that we have arrived, that we have just accomplished great things, and we sit down and relax and try to look at the gem and appreciate it. But it is important that we recognize that there is still need to grow. There is still need to do more. Our nation depends on us. Our members depend on us. And we depend on each other. And so, as I will be brief, I want to close in saying, extending my appreciation to each and every one of you for the hard work, the dedication, the efforts that you have put in, whether as a staff, volunteer, past staff, past volunteers, members who put their funds into the organization and depend on us to ensure that whatever they have entrusted to us, that we will use to the best of our abilities and take good care of it. We want to say that GECCU is indeed in good hands. It is in the hands of each and every one of us. And if we work together and we continue to build together, the gem that we call GECCU will continue to be even more precious as time goes on. God bless you. Have a wonderful day and enjoy the lecture this evening.
Thank you, Brother Sayers. I would also like to recognize in the audience the Honorable Minister of Education, Brother Curtis King. It's okay for me to call you brother. And head of the Global Campus, newly minted, Dr. Risa Noel McBarnett. I can call her Sister Risa, as she said. Welcome. The next item on our agenda is a special presentation to the family of Brother Charles McIntosh. It is with great respect and fond remembrance that we dedicate this 60th anniversary lecture to our former treasurer, the late Brother Charles McIntosh. Brother McIntosh was a valuable member of GECCU, contributing his time and expertise as a volunteer over many years. His dedication to the credit union was evident through his service on the board of directors from the year 1989 to 1999. Where he utilized, his accounting skills to support the organization's growth. He served as treasurer on the board of directors and later as chairman of the supervisory committee, making significant contributions to the credit union's development. Additionally, he played a key role in the local cooperative movement, serving as president of the St. Vincent's and the Grenadines Cooperative League from 1996 to 1999. He is described as results-oriented by his peer, our dear Sister Renee Batiste, CMG. And Sister Batiste said, quote, Brother Mac approached challenges of the credit union with kindness and gentleness, embodying the cooperative spirit in his efforts to address significant issues. Like so many others, Brother McIntosh's legacy has a place in GECCU's history, and we will never forget his contribution to this noble institution. In the presence of our esteemed audience here this evening, as well as those listening and watching online, we publicly express our gratitude and deep appreciation for his faithful and valuable services rendered to the credit union. Present on behalf of the family of Brother McIntosh is his daughter, Zora McIntosh. I now invite our president back to the front of the room to present to Ms. McIntosh a token of appreciation for Brother McIntosh's undeniable contribution to GECCU. Please welcome Zora, the lady of the hour. Thank you, Zara, for being here, and thanks to Mrs. Doris McIntosh, the widow of Brother McIntosh, who is viewing online. Thank you for being here with us. We now invite, again, Mr. Saeed Bowman, distinguished panelist, to play a special song in memory of Brother McIntosh. Please welcome Saeed. Thank you very much, Saeed. When we asked Saeed to play something in Brother McIntosh's memory, I didn't expect Saeed to play something that would make me almost lose my voice, because he invoked some emotion there. So thank you very much, Saeed. I know that I know that Mrs. McIntosh is very pleased. Thank you very much. I would also like to recognize Brother Stuart Haynes, the Executive Director of the NIS, for gracing us this afternoon. Welcome. And moving swiftly along, I will now introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Lennox Bowman. Mr. Lennox Bowman is a chartered banker and credit unionist who holds professional qualifications in banking and finance and accounting. He has considerable experience in many areas of finance, including offshore development, commercial insurance, retail banking, and credit unions. He spent 15 years in retail banking between Barclays Bank PLC and National Commercial Bank, now the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He joined GECCU at its Lone branch on August 1st, 1994, and when he demitted office in 2020, GECCU had 6 branches across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. For 21 years, Mr. Bowman steered the credit union through many successes. He played a critical role in leading organizational growth, and under his leadership, GECCU has become the largest credit union in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and was the second largest in the OECS until recently. And at the end of his tenure, GECCU boasted a membership of over 45,000 members and assets of over 307 million, a feat that has now been surpassed. Mr. Bowman is very committed to the credit union movement and its philosophy. He is credited with steering GECCU into the 21st century by expanding programs and services to thousands of members. He has worked tirelessly to advance the credit union's objectives by building a competent and well-trained staff with sound advice and leadership from the different boards and committee members over the years. In 2007, he was recognized by a leading national newspaper as St. Vincent and the Grenadines' Man of the Year. I did not know that either. Also a well-known cultural icon, he is a prolific songwriter, singer, and music producer who has continued to produce music for many artists. He is the current chairman of the National Insurance Services, and he is married to Andrea Bowman and has 2 children. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our keynote speaker for this evening, Mr. Lennox Bowman.
I don't know where she got those things from. Okay, so Acting Registrar of Cooperatives, GECCU Ltd, representative from the Financial Services Authority, President of the Cooperative League, Sister Miriam Roach, other members of the Board of Directors of the Cooperative League, Presidents and Sister Credit Unions, Chief Executive Officers of Sister Credit Unions, and I see Brother Ewan Evans here of KCCU, past Presidents of GECCU, current Presidents of GECCU, Brother Michael says, members of the Board of Directors of GECCU, Chief Executive Officer of GECCU, Sister Maxine Johnny, Brother Stuart Haynes, National Insurance Services, Mrs. Nandy Williams Morgan, Corporate Secretary, BOSVG, other specially invited guests, Brother Curtis King. We have a very special relationship, but management and staff, GECCU members present, and those viewing online, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. When I was asked to do this, I thought somebody was setting me up. But I agreed. After I agreed and I got home and I thought about it, I said to myself, well, I just set myself up by agreeing. Because I don't understand how you could give me only 3 hours. Joke making. I don't know how you could give me only 3 hours to talk about 60 years. But it really is an honor and privilege to join you as we celebrate this monumental milestone in the history of our beloved organization. A milestone 16, GECCU's 60th anniversary. I think this marks not only 6 decades of growth, 6 decades of service and commitment, but it also marks the collective dedication of the members, the leaders, and the visionaries who have helped shape GECCU into this gem we have built together. As we reflect on the journey for our credit union, we will pay a special tribute to one of its stalwarts, Brother Charles McIntosh, whose passion for the cooperative movement and his tireless efforts in championing the principles of credit unions have left an indelible mark on our community. Charles McIntosh's contributions resonate deeply within the fabric of GECCU's values, reminding us that it is through unity, mutual trust, and a shared purpose that we have strived. I want to congratulate the Board of Directors for dedicating this presentation to his memory, and I want to say to the family, rest assured that your dad, and in the case of Mrs. McIntosh, his wife, that Charles did a phenomenal job in his own calm way. So, the theme today is a gem we built together. But how is a gem formed? How is a precious stone formed? A gem, a precious stone, is subjected to or goes through a crucible in order to attain its distinctiveness, its polish, and its beauty. The crucible it experiences as a result of the upheavals and shift in the Earth's crust determines the shape, the density, and the sparkle of the gem at which we marvel, the gem that we value. We pay daily for this gem because of our deep appreciation for the process of its formation. It is tumbled and tossed in the earth's cauldron before it is mined, discovered, and owned. I dare say that GECCU, these letters almost spell gem, is a gem of the aforementioned caliber. GECCU has been honed and shaped by the vicissitudes of time, commitment, sacrifice, foresight, husbandry, principle, pragmatism, and people power. This evening, I will demonstrate to you how our gem has emerged from the crucible during this 60-year sojourn. To a large extent, this crucible is the context in which our gem, GECCU, was formed. We will look at the gem we have built, as well as how it was built. And yes, we are still in the process of building and refining this gem we call GECCU today, as the President has so rightly said. But firstly, it is important for us to understand the context or the crucible from which this gem GECCU was formed. The credit union movement in St. Vincent and Grenadines is an important part of the country's socio-economic development. Its roots can be traced back to a broader regional and global movement of community self-help and mutual aid. All of this that began to take shape, though, only in the early 20th century. Credit unions emerged as a response to the economic challenges faced by the working class population, thereby providing a platform for financial inclusion, economic empowerment, and community development. The movement in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as in many parts of the Caribbean, was shaped by the socio-economic and political climate of the region, especially during the colonial times. The early 20th century in the Caribbean, and this includes St. Vincent and the Grenadines, was marked by severe economic challenges, widespread poverty, and limited opportunities for upward mobility. We need to understand this context. Most of the islands, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines, were British colonies, with economies based primarily on sugar, banana, and cotton. The vast majority of the population were descendants of enslaved Africans, while a small colonial elite controlled much of the economic and political power. This created a stark divide between wealthy landowners and the impoverished working class. The colonial economic structure was highly exploitative and there were limited financial services available to the poor. I understand how we build this thing. I understand where this credit union come from. Banks were largely inaccessible to the working class who had neither collateral or financial literacy to engage with traditional financial institutions. The colonial government was so slow to respond to the needs of the working population, thereby exacerbating social unrest and economic stagnation. This was certainly a challenging period. The cooperative movement in St. Vincent really took shape in the mid-20th century, influenced by similar development in other territories. The movement here in St. Vincent began to gain momentum only in the 1950s. And this was driven by the work of community leaders and organizations committed to improving the socio-economic circumstances of the poor. So just think about the vision here and what could have prompted these people in that kind of situation to want more. The establishment of credit unions offered an alternative to the exploitative lending practices that many people, especially in the rural area, faced. The credit unions provided access to affordable credit savings and opportunities and financial education, very importantly. These institutions were rooted in the principle of cooperative economics, where members pooled their savings and provided loans to one another at a reasonable interest rate. Before all this, we had the Susuhana, the Tonhana, and the friend thing, and so on. But those things didn't just happen. Those things happened because there were no formal means for people and poor people to access financial services. If we take a moment to reflect on the prevailing circumstances and the attendant challenges of the period, then we can truly appreciate the vision, the grit, the fight, the commitment, the determination, and effort of our founding parents and pioneers of our credit union during this period. The crucible we are experiencing now, even now in this day, even as we continue to polish it, may be different in many respects from the crucible of the mid-20th century, but the challenges are still and equally tested and no less attention, and require no less attention and resolve. It must be noted that GECCU was not the first credit union to be established in St. Vincent and Grenadines. There were others before us, including GECCU, Bali Cooperative Credit Union. So, we weren't the first here. GECCU, however, what we call GECCU now was for the general employees, the government employees cooperative credit union, was started in early 1964. And my research tells me that it was on an initiative of Mr. Clem V. Aiton, assisted by Mr. Thomas Saunders of the Cooperative Division, as well as a study group headed by Brother Bertram Nihal and Brother Elijah Baines as president and secretary of that group. The credit union, however, was officially registered on July the 14, 1964, with a membership of 20 government employees. And you know what the total amount in shares was at that time of registration? $89. By the end of the year, it took us from July to the end of the year, Brother Harry, to reach 26 members and a share balance of $426. 16 of these 20 members signed the registration form. And I think we need to record these names. They were Zena Garraway, Clem Aiton, Charles Murray Fraser, Bertram Nihal, Seaford Providence, Milton Samuel, Robert Samuel, Moulton Williams OBE, Arden Anderson, Sister Beryl Batiste MBE, Elijah Baines, Stanley Branch, Eardley Cato, Joyce Cox, Ursel Cummins, and Vibert Dishon. We owe these people, you know. The four other persons who were at the registration, but whose names weren't on the registration document, were Fitzherbert James, Orman Olivier, Calvin Nichols, OBE, and Thomas Sanders. My information revealed that the inaugural general meeting was held on the 6th of August, 1964, at 8 p.m. We never hold meeting that late. And guess where, Sister Rennie? At the upper story of the courthouse, with Bertram Nihal presiding. At that meeting, the following persons were elected to the board. Bertram Nihal, chairman, first president. Ursel Cummins, secretary treasurer. Seaford Providence, director. Beryl Batiste, MBE director. Arden Anderson, director. The remaining persons of the 20 all found themselves on committees. So we're good to go. At that significant general meeting, only God knew at the time the gem which was to emerge from the grinding crucible led by these visionaries. These founding parents, I don't want to say fathers, a real woman they hate too. But these founding fathers led the way for the continued emergence of countless pioneers of our blessed gem. It was their vision, their inspiration. This evening, you're not going to hear me talk much about the cooperative principles because, as I say, I only have 3 hours. However, in the context of what I've just said, I want to mention 2 principles before I describe the gem we've built together, because I think these 2 principles are important to our understanding of the critical role the credit union has played and why it has played this critical role. First one, everyone who invests money in a credit union is an owner. This is a significant difference between credit union and most of the other financial institutions. So everyone who saves in a credit union is a part owner. Credit unions are not for-profit organizations. It means that we're running and we're making surpluses, because how we can pay and distribute dividend. Profit corporations assign votes by shares. In that case, a person has as many votes as he or she owns shares. Think about this, where we're going. A credit union, however, does not operate this way. No matter how much or how little money a person invests in a credit union, he or she has only 1 vote. So why is this so? The reasoning behind the credit union policy is this. Firstly, a democratic organization, a self-acclaimed democratic organization, cannot be run by weighted votes. Since a credit union values democratic control, it must allow all members equal voting power. That's the real democracy. Secondly, the amount of a person's savings is not necessarily an indication of the importance of the savings to the person. 1% of a wealthy person's income, 1%, may be more than 50% of a poor person's income. Thirdly, those with the most money are not necessarily those most capable of running the organization. Not true? Therefore, credit union governance is strictly one person equals one vote, regardless of how many shares a person owns. And we have to understand why the democracy in the credit unions and all the little headbutting that we have, where it comes from and what it does. Because it is differences in opinion which drive development. And this is what the credit union is saying. During my tenure at GECCU, I've been able to fully appreciate this credit union thinking. I've also realized that what a credit union can do and what a credit union does is to mobilize the human resources of a country by giving people a method of solving their own problems. Credit unions show individuals that people can be trusted, which is an important concept for people to remember. A credit union puts a premium on trustworthiness because it makes use of people concerned for their own money. Even more important than teaching its members to have faith in each other, the credit union teaches them to have faith in themselves. All over the world, people are reluctant to handle many of their own affairs. They have either been convinced or have convinced themselves that important matters are beyond their understanding. The credit union philosophy and action has turned this thinking on its head. So, understand the importance of this GEM and the credit, and by extension, the credit union movement. Just for the other persons from the other credit unions here, I am speaking about GECCU tonight, but there's a great similarity with all the credit unions. So, let me just give a little outline of GECCU stages in development. There's a lot, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them. I really, truth be told, I tried to get some slides to reflect a few things, but you know how it is. If the devil can have his way, he always looks to find a seat. So we said that in 1964, we were registered. By December 1973, whatever was happening between the and Sister Rennie and Sister Patricia and so on will know even more than me. Whatever was happening between them was appealing to people, appealing, growing membership, the knocking on the doors, going to the offices, the whole story about Sister Beryl Baptiste and Mona Bramble and all of these, Sister Charles and Kitty, Viola John. Just to call her name alone makes me shake. And these people who laid this foundation. So in December 1973, GECCU achieved listen now, from 89, 426 in 6 months, we achieved a share capital of 100,000. Brother Moulton Williams was present from 70 to 74, and Brother Seaford Providence, 74 to 75. I had the pleasure in working with some of them and listening to them. And I know the stories that they say to get this to even 100,000. So remember now, we come from a history that we don't have confidence in ourselves. We don't trust one another. We were taught that. We were divided and ruled. Around that same time, there was happening in St. Vincent, all between those years. People from our credit union movement traveling around the Caribbean, because there were great things going on in Jamaica, in Trinidad, in Barbados. And they had a meeting here. Dominica takes credit for this formation of CCCU, But I trust you, and I have the photos to prove that the decision to formalize CCCU happened right here between the 19th to the 25th of August, 1973. The decision was taken. It was implemented the next AGM in Dominica, where it was taken here. In 1977, well, we getting large now. We stopped take people money and carry it and count it in the evening and write up the books and so on. So by 1977, we need office too, haven't we? So we rented our first office. In that same year, at the 13th AGM, the decision was taken to extend the membership to close relatives not working in the civil service. So you see, people asking for the service. But we started it first as a common bond with government workers. But now, Sister Rennie and Beryl Batiste and some of these people, they say, okay, let us extend it. So now if you are a relative of somebody in the service, you are eligible to join. And Brother Frank Mason, who was the president, he had told me some stories about the fight to get that to happen. And remember now, these guys I telling you about in them days, I went into some meetings with them in the later days. And you think we are fight now? We are not fight now. But the quality of the discussions and the knowledge and information brought into those rooms to make decisions were amazing, right? So these visionaries are basically saying, let's be more inclusive. In 1981, we introduced scholarship program because now members getting things, government was only given a few things. They used to call them government scholarships at that time. I think it was about 6 or 12 students got this, 3. And then if you're lucky, I think Tongue Board start giving some scholarships now. So if on merit, if you come right after that, you might pick up a Tongue Board scholarship. And then everybody used to get something called entrance. So it was government scholarship, it was Kingston Board scholarship, and then it was entrance. So obviously, the great minds of these people, Brother Niall and Moulton and Seaford and whoever, say, we have to find a way to give more people scholarship because education is how we can be liberated. So that was introduced. And Brother Calvin Nichols was, I don't know, boy. Whenever I mention Calvin Nichols, is the youngest old man I've ever seen in my life. When I went to GECCU in 1994, for the next 4 or 5 years, the idea is this man would come to me with, I say, but wait, this man trying to embarrass me. Because he was that alert and that in tune with the people. Now, remember 64? 16 years after now, GECCU going to have its first hired full-time manager. Who did they choose? Viola John. Could GECCU have made a worse choice? Or a less better choice? No. That woman was phenomenal. There's not more I can say about Viola right now because if I start, I'll keep you here till about 12 o'clock tonight. In 1982, May of 1982, GECCU registered 1,000 members. Think about that. This is when you start hearing the story about the knocking on the doors and the offices and the visit to recruit members. And this thing was like, I'm looking around the office here now and I'm seeing Joel Poyer. And I don't think there's anybody in this room who has recruited more persons to this credit union than Joel Poyer. In 1983, listen how this thing going in. In 1983 now, we achieved the savings milestone of $1 million now in shares after mere 19 years. And if you put this in context of what people's salary was and so on, you know what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with something that people is warming towards, trusting, but trusting themselves too. They trust in other people, but they trust in themselves. And why? Because some of the brightest minds that St. Vincent ever produced came through this movement here, and GECCU in particular. There were people, when they spoke, people had confidence in. In 1984, a resolution presented by Calvin Nichols passed to allow the credit union to purchase property. So we stop rent. We ain't stop, we let we purchase. The money we pay in rent, we could pay into own a property. By May 13th, the resolution, so we have property now. We expanded the common bond to include relatives. And on May 13th, a resolution presented by the same youth, Calvin Nichols, and seconded by Brother Charles Samuel, passed to extend our common bond to include all salaried workers. You think we're easy? We dealing with this thing rough. So we expanding. Because the more people who join, and the more savings we get to, what happens to our ability to leverage that for the benefit of the members? It ain't cool. Right? So in 1986, we purchased our first property, Halifax House, headquarters. Brother William Harry, I know that you were the president at that time who purchased that. And Brother Harry was there between 1985 to 1987 as president. In 1987, October, credit union ain't stopped by that. You know how much licks we get for buying property? Plenty licks. But no, we must leave them for people who ain't even from St. Vincent to buy them up. Well, this is where our love relationship starts with the co-op department. That's a whole story by itself. So, we purchased, after the property, we purchased land at Sign Hill for the development of housing plan. Because that's the kind of thinking of the people at that time. Dr. Kitty Israel, president, 87, 89, she was there. You know about that. And you know what that meant to people. I am here, a proud beneficiary of that. So when I stand up on my porch and I look down the hill, Sister Rennie, my first gaze is straight to GECCU. Then in 1990, that time, you know, we fight in the crucible, you know, or the crucible massaging us, you know. All the situations, all the conditions happening there. We say we can try we hand with a gas station. Boy, I tell you, that was classic. We take some licks. Self-inflicted. We got some licks inflicted from outside. We had robbery. We had man get stabbed up all in the night. How many nights I up in Riley with this guy, the Carib, we used to call him? Carib. He gets stabbed and thing all up there. But I don't think our members, let me put it euphemistically, I don't think they understand the process. So we had some difficulty and some outstanding receivables and so on. And we eventually closed that in 1996 or so we closed that. Right? In 1991, school cooperative program was launched. We now have over 30 school co-ops, eh? Right now, right, Maxine? Over 30. Danley? But I want to register our gratitude to the cooperative department who spearheaded the school co-ops program. The teacher guides have also made and continues to make an outstanding contribution to the development of these junior corps. And those two we have to thank. In 1993, well, this is where the property rows start. 1993, we purchased our second property in town, the Bounty. By this time, we're buying up town, you know. We ain't leaving it for nobody. And I can say now, parenthetically, Kingston buy up town too. Teachers buy up town too. Police are the second building also in town, our first building. But when we own a credit union, when our membership owns a credit union, you know how many people own in it? Every member. So 45,000, GECCU, more than 45 now, we're probably 50 something now, strong. All of them, we own them building, you know. Same for teachers, same for Kingston. In July of 1993, and now people start to ask for big money. GECCU members stop the little add-on thing and rent. We want house. So a resolution was passed to introduce a mortgage program. You see the name Kenwick Lewis? Show some respect to that man if you're a GECCU member for what he did and his toil and his sweat. He was one of the sharpest minds that I had worked with, and he was focused, laser focused on his credit union movement. He served he was instrumental in the formation of our league. Like Sister Rennie here, he was instrumental in the formation of the OECS. He sat on the CCCU board for many years, you know. In January 1994 now, introduction of the death benefit. Now, I think it was President Lois and Secretary Elizabeth who drove this at the time. I think Sister Rennie was also there at the time. All members asked for it, and we delivered. We delivered. People, burying people was expensive business, man. Still is up to today. This is also the year I joined GECCU, 1994. Today, for death benefit, you walk into most credit unions, but in GECCU, for an annual premium of $30, your beneficiary gets $6,000 to assist in burying. Now in 1995, there was the computerization of the operation. I don't know if they hold back this thing for when I come to give me a baptism or what. But I saw Connie here. I'm trying to see persons who were here. Eh? Bernadette was at the league still at that time. But that was a crazy time. Because I came and I see a whole set of computers lying up there. Dust covering them and everything. And Viola John said, well, Lennox, you handle that. Now, I cannot talk computers without thinking about Sharon Mason. Sharon Mason overnight became an exporting computer. And we were there for nights, because imagine taking all of those thousands of ledger sheets and having to move from manual into computers. Some of them we had no data board, no nothing. I tell you, this thing happened in 1995, and we had to convert, even if people didn't have data board. But we couldn't leave it there because we had to put something in the field. You understand the computer people were talking about? So after that, thousands of people born in 1995. So when they come in and you say, how so much people born? One time we started to look for birthdays and things to send out a birthday greeting. But they were, but I have to say, and again, I want to give credit to people like Maxine and so on, who over that time oversaw the transformation, the transfer, the collection of information, because she was the accountant in charge of the cashing. So we would tell people when they come in to do the cash, try get the correct data board. You see? Some of them ain't got address. Try get the address too, eh? So we tell them, say wait, let me make sure I have your address, your data board right. Oh, let me just make sure your address okay. And we got all that information there. So computerization was problems. 1996. What did we do again? We gone at the crop department again. This time, we buy this one without telling them, well, who tell we do that? Because if you ain't come straight to the cooperative movement. So we purchased property number 3, the Connell's building. You know, still there? Must he still look the same from outside too? In 1998, on December the 14th, at our 33rd annual general meeting, a resolution was passed under Sister Rennie leadership to establish a group health coverage. That was one of the most welcome initiatives we ever took. I didn't want to get into anecdotes tonight because I know it can take me long. But I have to give you one anecdote with Sister Rennie. I had just come to join GECCU. Sister Rennie was the president. And it was close to Carnival the next year, following year now. So I said to Mrs. John, I wrote a nice letter asking if I can get 2 weeks vacation. But me ain't due for vacation yet. I said, Lord, I will lose my job now. So I wrote this letter. She said, Lennox, let me check with Rennie. Sister Rennie, you was hearing this for the first time. But you know about it, but you're hearing me sister for the first time. When I got back, when Viola got back, the note that I had sent, you know what Sister Rennie wrote on it? National duty. These will not count against his holidays. Now, that may not sound like the big thing I thought I'm taking it to be. But I will tell you something. That decision influenced how I dealt with people going off to do national duty in the future. So we're talking about how we build this organization. Things like that. Visionaries like that. People who think ahead. In 1999, the second full-time manager was appointed. I was there since earlier, but I was appointed. When I went there, like, boy, this man will turn this place into a bank because they know me by Barclays. And I think Sister Rennie them got all of that, them stories before, and they know me. I think you're going to turn this thing into a bank. But I remember talking to Sister Rennie one day, and she says to me, Lennox, they don't know about you. They don't know about your dealings in the community and so on. And I smiled because I was already president of NYC. I was the youngest president of NYC at 22. Curtis knows that. I was involved in everything that you could think about. But I smiled because I wasn't going to be deterred by what people thought. I knew what I wanted to do, and that was my choice. In 1999, we opened our second office in the Southern Grenadines. Again, serving the unserved and the underserved. And we purchased a fourth property, formerly Fast Photo. Remember that building that used to be there? Our members felt that these buildings must remain locally, and that's what we did. The introduction of GECCU Med, because we thought again that we need to attend to the health needs. In 2001, we purchased our fifth property, the Reliance Building. Cecil Ryan was the president at that time. And all you had to say is, Cecil, we go and buy, and Cecil ready. Because Cecil coming from this position now where listen, we have to own them things, right? So, man, I find a good ally there. And we go on and we buying like crazy. In 2002, the OECS Secretariat was launched. Where was it launched? In St. Vincent. We were the drivers behind that. The Cecil Ryans, the Bentley Browns, the Reuben Johns, all those persons were the drivers behind this. Right here in St. Vincent, driven in a large way by GECCU. Our league played a significant role in that. So now in 2002, people getting real confused with GECCU now because things happening, they buying up all these buildings, so many members, everybody getting loan. And then people start to say, but why can't join? Because it's government employees cooperative credit union. So nah, we have to deal with that. We have to deal with that. So on April 30th, 36 AGM, a resolution for GECCU name change from government to general was passed. Because people weren't sure if they could join. So the name change took place. I don't know if all remember the sign. You know what we did? We put a big thing, a big poster, a big billboard. Name change. And we wrote on it, Government Employees Cooperative Credit Union. And we take a line and put it through government, and we put general. You want a better way of telling people name change? During that time, too, we get in some hot soup with ECCB. And then by that time, Donnelly and Maxine and them used to watch me with a little, Mr. Bowman, you sure? So this time I say, listen, let us go with this thing. Let us do a signboard called Bank on Us, GECCU. Boy, my mistake. I done uneasy because some of me people ain't buying into it. I got a call one morning from Dwight Venner. He said, Lennox, what's happening? You are in a meeting here nearly 2 hours discussing some billboard that you put up down there and so on and so on and so on. So I said, so Dwight, what is this about? I don't think I do anything wrong. I said, so Dwight, you know I research my things properly. He said, I said, the billboard said, Bank on Us. I said, Dwight, the last time I look at this bank on, it means that you can depend on us. He said, Lennox, boy, let me just go get back to these people. And I'm going to get back to you. Dwight never get back to me. Never got back to me on that. 2 years later, Grenville Credit Union have a bank on us thing. One in Trinidad, I think, with a bank on us. I say, man, you have to be brave. Just like how I got a little reaction when we were going to do the SVG's GECCU country. Daniel was like, Mr. Bowman, you sure? She said, how are we going to do it? And she said, must come up with the idea. I said, yeah, I'll go find a way. Because I have some management staff in my time, Sister Rennie. I tell you. I never used to bother them because the way I see it, you can't put good people in job and not empower them. So I know I had good staff. And if we have a little difference, I tell them, I'll go. All you know how I feel, but don't make me stay here. I'll go have all the meeting and come back. Usually when they come back, whatever decision they come with is better than any decision any one of us had. But this one here, Daniel, was a little scared. We ain't mind. You could still see it around the place. SVG's GECCU country. Yeah? 2004, things happening now, and GECCU playing a major role in these things. Carib D, Development Educators Program. A Development Educators Program all over the world. Melvin Edwards, someone who I have a lot of time for in this movement, and in my opinion is a real hero and a pioneer in the movement. Also rose to the position of GECCU president. He called me, he said, Lennox, I called in 2 persons first. I called in you, I called in David Marquez out of Trinidad. He said, we're going to do this Carib D. It says, Carib D is a development educators program. That is a full 1-week immersion program on the principles and all the principles and the philosophy of the credit union movement. When you come out of that, you are really fully aware of what is happening in credit unionism. Who was behind that? GECCU people. Up to now, I believe GECCU must have trained, Maxine, how many? Over 75 people? Because it's a lot of years we've been doing this. Because it's from 2004, 20 years. We must have about 50 persons trained there. Then on May 13th, we had the introduction of the Social Development Fund. Sister Angela Martin was the person here at the time. And we call Sister Angela the education president. Because the amount of educating we try to do it during that period there. And it was easy to get a president focused on education to give a budget. So she was there and we got a budget. And in 2006, we achieved a milestone of 20,000 members and 100 million assets. And what did we do? What do you think your gem do when you achieve that? Man, we plastered that all over St. Vincent. What does that say? It says that, one, that we are proud, Secondly, that people have confidence in us. And thirdly, we're going to go. On the 9th of August, we decided one office in Union ain't enough. We opened a third office in the Grenadines in Beckway. In 2008, we ain't satisfied still because members saying, well, if you could do down there, you could do in town too. We went Georgetown, we opened a branch. Brother Kenny Douglas will tell you, and I hope he's listening. And he's one of those presidents too, like so many, nearly all of them that I've worked with, who give a lot to this organization and give his time free. He was up and down, to and from Georgetown. We opened that. On January the 21st, GECCU became an agent of Western Union. We said, if we go in Georgetown, we have to give service, we have to find a way to pull people in and so on. So Western Union started in Georgetown. On October 16th of that same 2008, we had our ATM service launched. And I'll be bold enough to say, if I had my way, when GECCU launched in 2008, it would be the whole credit union launching, the whole movement launching. That didn't happen. But we went ahead because we knew that if we joined the Bank of St. Vincent's platform, we are providing access for our members anywhere. So we did that. Permanent shares implemented. Well, January 2010, I've always said that one of the more difficult tasks any president ever had was the implementation of permanent shares. And there were two persons involved in that. Started by Brother Kelvin Pompey. Where is he? Kelvin Pompey has to be the most diplomatic person I've ever met in my life. He had a fine balance between the policies and so on and doing what the member wants. That was not an easy thing. So whenever I go in out, I'm making sure that they have some people there who I know could take a good blow and they cringe. And Kelvin Pompey and Fillmore Isaacs are two of the best in the game. This is how we build this thing, you know. We have to take punches. On October the 1st, 2012, we get into another area that to me requires some reflection. We knew from the cooperative department and from Sandra Davis and her crew in particular that things weren't really going well with these smaller credit unions. And we had like 16 of them, you know. We knew that the smaller credit unions, or they knew that the smaller credit unions, when you remove the top 4, or at that time it was the top 3, the smaller credit unions were taking up 80% of their time. So, meeting of minds, meeting of heads, the best way out, amalgamate. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. If Brother Clarence Ari is here, he was the president around that time. And he knew how many trips we made. He knew how many of the people on the board of directors of each credit union we have to go and talk to individually until we succeeded with South Rivers. That, to me, is was a real joy for me because amalgamation was not in our thinking. Everybody wanted to be their own governor. On December the 31st, remember now, October the 12th, 2012, you see when you do the first one, how things has happened. On the December the 31st, 1 year later, we also amalgamated with ULP Cooperative Credit Union and Georgetown Monco Cooperative Credit Union. Guess what? This gem here had to make good when we look at the reserve position of some of these credit unions. But we knew that even though we were sinking a few dollars into the takeover of the assets and liabilities, that we were gaining good members, and we were never going to allow any one of those credit unions to go under. Because if one goes under, the whole movement is stained. We never did that. And on March 19, 2014, we launched GECCU Link services, which include the online, mobile app, and ATM. And I want to say, I don't know if he's here. Is Osbert here? When GECCU launched, and this is because, as again, and Maxine will tell you this too, because she used to push for this as well. Getting young people in. When we launched our mobile app, it was done, the mobile app was programmed and created by a young man. It was somewhere between 19 and 20. This is what we are talking about. This is the road we walk in. In 2016, on May 7, we opened the Canada office. That was the 5th office. On May the 8th, 1 year after we opened, we built and opened South Rivers office. People say, where are South Rivers for? We're going quite up before. What did we say? How are you going to develop those areas if you don't carry banking facilities up there? You think people are going to leave up there when they come down from the mountain or carpentry or mason? You think they're going to leave up there to come into town, spend $2 to put in $10? Ain't going to happen. On the 20th of June, we bought, a little before that, renovate and relocate to the former CIBC building. Now, what is the significance of that? What is CIBC? Foreign bank. What is GECCU? Little fledgling organization coming up through all the colonialism. Barclays on one side, same thing just happened. What used to be the center of financial power in St. Vincent and Barclays Bank, is now your national bank. We took that back. And what used to be another foreign power, CIBC, long before Bank of St. Vincent took that, we took that one down. You understand? So this is it. On the 22nd of March, we had the opening of GECCU River 14 Recreational Park. To me, this park could have been easily named the Fillmore Isaacs Recreational Park. Because Fillmore Isaacs represents, for me, all that is good and great in the credit union movement. I remember anecdotally again, when we had the problem with Keynote, I remember because we had to kind of treat with the writing off and so on over a few years. Maxine and I, we fight with them auditors. We say, no, you can't take everything one time. If you take everything one time, you can't tell my members that because of that one mishap that you can't give them a dividend. We fought with them, and we had good support and service from the auditors at the time. I think they were like, I think it was Floyd, Patterson, and so on. But when Fillmore was leaving, he said at a board meeting, when he was demitting office, and these are the things that make this gem what it is. He says, members, I am not leaving that hole as I demit office. We will do what we have to do and clear it out now. We didn't plan to do it that time. We weren't planning to do it. There again, he proved that the decision was the best, one of the better decisions. So, given these milestones, I mean, you will see that the credit union movement, and more specific, well, you will say to yourself, can you imagine a St. Vincent without, not just GECCU, can you imagine a St. Vincent without the cooperative movement? Do you guys know that the last I checked the figures, your gem GECCU in the portfolio of consumer loans in St. Vincent, when you add everybody who's doing consumer loans in St. Vincent, the banks, the credit unions, whoever, your credit union had more than 50% of all the consumer loans. That is something to think about, you know, because I have been sitting and reflecting on that. And that shows trust. It shows a willingness to flex. There is no room in the credit union movement for inflexibility. That is what we are about. We take more risk than people, than the others, and still we manage to keep our bad debts, right? We still manage to keep our bad debts under the 5%. Sometimes it goes a little bit up and so on. So there's no room for inflexibility. I can tell you about the countless times that I went down to courthouse to meet one of our members who ready to go to jail because they either wronged somebody, they ain't pay the alimony, and these kind of things. Go and sit with them there. Talk with them, Kitty. And when you can see remorse, and you have to lend them money right there, 5,000, 10,000, lend them money right there to prevent them from going to jail. Because sometimes they have 4 children, this and all this kind of thing. And countless of these people will come back to you after and thank you for that. So this is what the credit union does. About 10 years ago too, you know, this gem here was designated by the ECCB as a systemic credit union. What does this mean? It means that any distress or disorderly failure on the part of GECCU would cause a significant disruption to the financial system and economic activity in the OECS due to our size, complexity, and systemic connectedness. We were one of the big boys now. And that is why, when we get to talk about the cooperative department and the FSC, I have something to say about that too. Because a lot of people look at these regulators sometimes and they say, oh, the regulators want to do that, the regulators want to do this, and so on. But we have to embrace them because they are helping us to protect your savings, right? And again, if I can say anything, during the time that I was there as CEO, and I work with Maxine. She was excellent at working with the regulators. GECCU's growth was phenomenal. The confidence and the support and the scrutiny of our members and our stakeholders and other stakeholders kept us really focused. But the phenomenal growth over the years had one main challenge. We were growing so fast. Our challenge was, how do you keep the development of your systems commensurate with that growth? Listen. We were registering from about 2002. We were registering over 2,000 new members a year now. Over 2,000 new members a year. Clearly, what I will say is that over the 60 years, strategic thinking was clearly evident, and for that we owe a great deal to the membership, the volunteers, and the stakeholders. The GEM continued to provide a lot of products, but I was supposed to have the list of the product too. But yeah, we had the permanent shares and the regular shares and the ordinary deposits and so on. But the products that really made me happy and feel good, because I know how much they impact the members, were those products which we gave real thought and through marketing responded to our junior savers. We had a Christmas savings, because we find people were doing a lot of borrowing at Christmas time, but they could, if they put aside a little thing Christmas time, they could come and get it. Debt benefit. The social development fund as a service. The money transfer, the mortgage. We had something called weather in the storm, because we know where we live. And the board said, yes, let us see what we can do for them. So we lend you a little weather in the storm loan at preferential interest rate to help you to prepare for the storm. And even if you get damage after, we have monies for you to help take you out of it. Learn while you earn. That is Donnelly's pet. Learn while you earn. You know what we were saying to people? That if you were in St. Vincent, you couldn't afford to go and study. Or if you're taking the decision you're going to get married, or you had 2, 3 children, you want to stay here and buy a car, then we will make it possible for you at very, very easy rates to get money to study and get your degree right here. Because whether you're here or on campus, the certificates are the same thing. Carnival loan. When we started our carnival loan, we got pushback from people right in our own office. We got pushback from members of the board. We got pushback at the AGM from our membership. And I say, you know something? It will come up again next membership. So Maxine and I sit down and we prepare for them. In the first year, we did just over $1 million carnival loan. So the way that look on paper, it's so much costume, so much party. Why is it we lending our poor people money for people to go jump up and so on? I think if that were to happen now, people would think differently. But you know, when I said to them in the meeting, Stuart, when I showed them that 81% of that money was lent to people who wanted a little ice box and a bar and a little stocking up. They changed the mind. Because we didn't see the economic activity, right? But when it comes to service, no service that we ever had at GECCU, and I'm sorry, I will not here and those loans people, because they do an awesome job. No service we ever had at GECCU is more important than our financial counseling. I see Renato here, Director Gomez, and he knows that as well. The lengths to which we go to try to help our members. And I say that from the bottom of my heart. We can't help everybody with everything they want, but sometimes we can show them how to do it in stages. There is no place in the credit union for people who are not flexible. Gemma is here as well. And Gemma is a big proponent of that. It is, I think, really and truly, it is fair to say that GECCU has become like the home help of our community. You know? We had our challenges, you know. British American and clique, as I say, wasn't easy to overcome. The de-risking of banks wasn't easy to overcome. You gotta come to GECCU as a member. Your child at university. Come, take a loan. Before you leave GECCU, we prepare all the papers and everything, send it over to the bank, and we can send off your money for you. One stroke of a pen. De-risking. Threat to correspondent banking status. We couldn't do that anymore. That was painful. That still is very, very painful, because that's not the kind of service we want to provide. I know there's a lot of work being done on it, but you know, we had challenges with fintech companies. There were little companies popping up that could do transactions faster than we could do that. They can send off money faster than we could do it for our members. That is not our way. We always have to be first. There's a story I could talk, but I can't talk it now because too much. We're trying to be first, you know? The pandemic and the negative impact. That was crazy. Our members of staff came out during the pandemic. Dear, serve people. Some of us got COVID and everything, but we in it. We couldn't bring the machinery to a halt. We had to make provisions for our members. Give them moratorium. I think the moratorium went all up to 18 months. Sometimes we have to they have a loan, we put them on moratorium, but we have to lend them money to do some other kind of business that they can make an income for the family. This is what we do, you know. This is how we build this gem. It's not always difficult, it's not always easy. Last Soufriere volcano eruption. Our staff in Georgetown and South Rivers and wherever. But first thing we do, Maxine could tell you that because she's a chip off the old block. First thing we do, we think about our staff. Are they comfortable? And then we look at our members. And thank God for our social development fund. You know, all the natural disasters that we had. Peg us back, you know. Peg us back, but never so far back that we couldn't provide services for our members. And I always say, you know, thank God for the vision of our founding parents. Thank God for the pioneers that we had. So we have seen an example of strong governance and leadership, and we have been very member-centric focused. We look at issues of financial stability and how we managed to deal with them, and that we had a diverse and competitive product offerings. Our community engagement and social responsibility was truly amazing. Sometimes we are the first. I think we had a staff, and look, one just came to the door, right? Bernadette. But I think we have a staff who ears right to the ground. And anytime there is any kind of disaster, I don't even know. Sometimes I just hear they gone out by the shelter, they gone out by day, this and so on. And honestly, Brother President, those are the things that mean something to me. You know? I think the gem we see and experience today was built together with the true spirit of cooperation. But I want to mention the roles played by some of the main stakeholders. And I want to thank them for the roles in building the gym. The first point I want to make, though, is that the building of relationships has been key and central to the development of this organization. We are in a small space and we have to live together. But even outside the relationship we build regionally and internationally, stood us in good stead. I needed to talk about the young people and what we do for them. And I know that right now we have been doing quite a few things for them. But I was speaking to someone this morning and I realized that I had to talk about them. Because our young people don't want to come to know credit union building if they don't have to. They want to sit on their mobile phones. They want mobile banking to work for them. They want to do their loans from home. You see that? So the youth-centric focus, because I always thought that we had a unrelenting focus on youth, right? And I think we have to continue doing what we're doing and even further enhance it. Because even me now and Sister Israel just said that. Even me, you think it's easy for me coming down to pay a light bill and so on? I'm so happy with this thing. You know? I want to be able to go apply for my loan, get it, the loan gone in my account, and I just take out my thing and do it. And I think GECCU, to a large extent, we're doing some of that. We have a good school partnership, but I think we need to also further enhance it in school to teach young people about the credit union system and the benefits and the importance of savings and so on. We need to keep that fired up. And so that the social media engagement. Let me say young people, because when I say young people, I'm talking about Gen Zers like Nandi and sorry Nandi, I know you're not a Gen Z, but we're talking about people like who born 2012. Yeah. But we need to utilize our programs like Instagram and TikTok, and I know Asif is here and he has been doing a fantastic job. Right? But he has no choice because, of course, Donnelly, you know. After a while, I used to go and talk about marketing and things, but then when I realized you guys never used to want to see me, they want to see Donnelly, I don't. So on the only way the programs and things, I don't. So we need to utilize Instagram, TikTok. And I think people have been looking now for like personalization of the communication that's sent to them. And I think AI has got to be embraced for the good of it if we are to really keep up to date, right? Because it's not like we're not doing anything, you know. We've been out there, we computerized, we had our ATM, we have online, and so on. But maybe we can do it differently, better, but not just do it, but try to focus on a culture where our young people help us to drive it. We need to have our set up youth advisory committees. I know we have been trying over the years to get younger people. That's why you see we have a young president now. And we have some other young people on the board and so on, because we need to get them we need to get them involved, right? All the peer-to-peer features that I think we do have peer-to-peer feature now. We could go and transfer money between. So GECCU, maybe GECCU not talking enough about it. And that's something we have to look at. And we have to find ways of getting our young people involved in it in a way that they could get a benefit. Maybe we have to get competitions going so that if you do X amount of selling digitally, you can get certain things and get young people to be the drivers of this thing. So there's something called, I see this thing on a credit, you know, where you have games like, let's call it gamification, where you incorporate gamified savings and investing experiences. Remember, can set aside financial goals and then unlock the goals when you reach them for a pecuniary benefit. So maybe all these things we need to look at, right? Even something I see coming through now, especially through the Venezuela area, is something called crowdfunding. And I don't think it is beyond us to develop platforms that allow young entrepreneurs to raise funds for their business ideas or community projects. So we need to provide them with that opportunity. These are some of the things we can look at. All right. There we go, because I want to talk you whole night. I just want to look at a few of the stakeholders and how they have helped us build. Successive governments have always been very supportive of the credit union sector. Doesn't matter. I think it is fair to say that government is a partner in the cooperative movement. There's a clear recognition that credit unions are critical to the development of the people in the country. Therefore, successive governments have provided a friendly and enabling environment in which to flourish. If that weren't so, GECCU would not be among the highest credit union countries in the world penetration. I think right now we are up in the 90s in terms of credit union penetration. What does that mean? It's in basic grenades. What it means is that if you were to look between the ages of 16 and 65 for all the people who are employed, economically active, St. Vincent and Grenadines, 90-something% of that are in credit unions. Never mind that said, somebody had said to me the other day that, I hear GECCU paying government salaries. So part of me feel elated, you know, because I say, it means that the men think that we are solid enough to do that. Part of me feel elated. And the other part of me say, boy, that man can make mischief. You know how I used to feel. And these are things we talk about. This gem here, you have to know when to identify your little wins. You know how I used to feel when anybody have a deposit with us with over 500,000? Now, we have people with millions of dollars with us. You know what that made me feel as a past CEO, current CEO, when I was there? That here I am, being part of the toil, and people have that much trust in us. The role of the cooperative division and the FSA in the development of GECCU must never be understated. The cooperative department is just regulation and supervision. It promotes cooperative societies. It is also involved in capacity building, training, auditing, monitoring. It has an advisory role, and it is excellent at mediating in conflict resolution when disputes arise. I have worked with Sandra Davis, Harold Fraser, Neva Cardis, Patterson Homer, and I'm talking co-op department now. Sandra Davis was one of the first persons who visited me when I took over. She said, let me tell you something. She said, no, nicey, I come out here to talk to you. She said, people money only dealing with them. Yes. And we had a good talk. And Sandra Davis is another pillar of the movement. And this is not to say that Harold Fraser, Neva Cardis, or Patterson Home and the others are any less. They had a view of this thing, which was the proper view to have. They saw themselves as part of a whole. They see the role not just as regulating, but about educating and about exemplifying the true spirit of cooperation. But enter the FSA. The FSA was established on the 22nd, by Act of Parliament. The authority was created by Act of Parliament to institute a new system to manage direct and supervise the international financial services industry and the domestic non-bank institutions under which credit unions fall. As with change, people were ready to say, oh, they're coming now. We ain't under the credit union, not under the co-op anymore. They're going to regulate us like banks. The long and short of the matter, this did not happen. And credit unions, I will say to you, have benefited tremendously from the enhanced supervision by the FSA. I think our members should be comforted by this. GECCU currently maintains a very good relationship with the FSA, and that relationship redounds to the benefit of the members. People like Mrs. Bollers, Carla James, Neva Cardis, Nasha Brown, Jimmy Black, Mr. St. Rose, and others are very, from my experience, and I'm sure Maxine could attest to this, they are very helpful professionals who are just a phone call. The SVG Cooperative League, one of the things we look at in the credit union movement, and one of the objectives GECCU has always had is how do we play our role in enhancing the movement locally, regionally, and internationally. We never departed from that. And we've always played our role. Think about it. Do you think it's by guess that the league was formalized just around the same time of GECCU in 1964? No. And where was the league housed in 1964? In GECCU. That league, driven by the sister credit unions on the board, but in a big way by the members of GECCU as well. We're the ones who, as we said, head the summit, did our parts in CCCU, and CCCU. And for this, we need to recognize Sister Shirley Charles, and Angela Patrick Bertrand. We have had our legal challenge. Don't worry, we're coming to that then. GECCU had many legal challenges and hurdles to get over. And Sister Rennie will bear with me. Donald Brown, Andrew Cummins, Rennie Batiste, Lyndon George, Jelani Williams, Andrea James, all played a significant role in our development and continues to play up to today. And to them, we are extremely grateful. Few years ago, the GEM decided we're gonna have our own legal in-house team. And again, I have to remember Sister Rennie anecdotally to say, although she was one of our lawyers, she is the one who encouraged us to get this thing. I was looking for the letter that you wrote, but you don't know how much that letter made me feel. Because here was she giving up some of her business now, the business she got from us, and embracing that. To me, that goes beyond self. Our external auditors, important stakeholder. We don't always think about them. Yes, we know the main role revolves around ensuring financial accuracy and accountability and compliance, but in GECCU, we are compelled to acknowledge the excellent relationship and the professional guidance and understanding we have enjoyed with our successive auditors throughout the 60 years of our development. Maxine will tell you. We sat with these people knowing that we didn't know everything. We sat with them knowing that we weren't perfect in what we were doing. And what we hoped they got from us was that we were sincere in what we were doing and that we were ready to learn. So we have to thank people like Sutherland and Co., Sylvia Sutherland, Panelka Foster, BDO, Floyd Patterson, Grant Thornton, KPMG, and how many of us here remember a fellow by the name of Allison Lewis, Monix? In the early days? He will come and he will sit down, and he would be there toiling away. And what about our own internal audit department and audit committee? These people are important too. Auditors offer to GECCU a service to the shareholder. So, GECCU too had its own internal audit department many moons ago. After all, we are a systemic credit union, and we need to thank our internal auditors, which sometimes we may not see eye to eye with, which sometimes they may be not fully appreciative of everything we are doing, but we have to meet and we have to understand our roles. And until we meet and understand our roles, we're not going to move it forward in the way we want to move it forward. And how do we do that? Discussions. Don't do like Israel and Hamas now. We need to talk. CTAW, our trade union, another very important stakeholder. I don't know if they were just waiting until I took over from Viola John. But as soon as I took over, they were walking. Somebody must tell them that this banker will come and turn all into bank, he's going to fire half of you, and so on. But as soon as I walk in, a few months after, I got this letter. I mean, as soon as I walk into the position. And I said to myself, we have some work to do. Maybe these people could help us. That's what we did, you know. We immediately start to look at our, Kelvin is there. We immediately start to look at our HIRS system, human resource. And there's a fellow who I knew very well, who I introduced to come and help us. Clarence Keys. He was one of the better known people in the movement in terms of trade unionism. He came, we never paid him. He died, and he never got paid. I think he didn't want to be paid, right? But that experience of working along with him and him training some of our staff and so on and teaching along, and we were able to work with the credit union movement. Up to now, I will challenge anybody in this room and anybody listening to me to find a trade union agreement which is more friendly to the staff. Worker friendly. Sister organizations. We can't do it alone. If I have one challenge now is to say, credit unions, we need to work more together. And we need to work better. Yes, we have little friendly competition between us, but it is redounding to the benefit of the members. But there are things that we don't compete on. We don't compete on legal services. We don't compete on, on computer services and so on. There are a lot of things that we can work together. And I know, because sometimes Maxine would call me, and I can tell you that there's probably a better working relationship now with this new breed of managers than even I had in my time. We also have good relationships with Chamber of Commerce and NDF and Employees Federation and so on. So to say that volunteerism is dying, I think volunteerism is still very much alive in GECCU. As GECCU volunteers, we understand that because we are not paid for our work, it doesn't mean that the work is any less legal or any less critical. We do our work in a professional manner with the full appreciation that being professional is indispensable to doing a good job. All volunteers come to us with good skills, great skills. They make great contributions. They give of their skills, time, yes, and the financial resources too. Most would acknowledge that as much as they have contributed, they have also learned from the University of GECCU. Kenny Douglas has always said that. We also learn about the spirit of cooperation. We call on the expertise anytime, Let me tell you how we're fortunate in this credit union movement. There isn't a time that you can call on somebody that you can't get the help, right? So, I want to honor our volunteers as I try to wind up. We also honor our volunteers whose tireless efforts have built this institution into a thriving, supportive community and the gem we know today. At the heart of GECCU's success are the successive boards of directors whose visionary leadership has guided us through decades of growth and transformation. These leaders, drawn from our very own membership, have brought wisdom, integrity, and commitment to the core principles of the cooperatives. I want to also pay a special tribute to the hard-working credit committee, whose diligence, passion, have been the foundation of our housing and loan programs. Meeting sometimes twice per week and frequently taking the time to make field visits to assess housing projects firsthand. This committee exemplifies the spirit of service. Equally, we recognize the unwavering efforts of the Education Committee. Their dedication to providing educational programs has empowered countless members, equipping them with knowledge and skills to navigate the ever-changing financial landscape. Their mission to foster financial literacy and personal development has had a lasting impact on our communities. The Social Development Committee deserves our deepest gratitude as well. Their work in meetings, conducting field visits, and showing heartfelt empathy in times of members' personal crises has been nothing short of extraordinary. Whether responding to the devastation of national disasters or standing with members in the moments of personal loss and hardship, this committee has shown, and I'm talking here of the Social Development Committee, that GECCU is more than just a financial institution. It is a community built on care, compassion, and solidarity. Equally, I don't want to leave out the Supervisory Committee. Their supervision and compliance, their vigilant oversight has been crucial in ensuring the transparency and integrity of our operations. Their careful review of our processes, coupled with their commitment to compliance, has safeguarded the trust that all members place in us. Their work behind the scenes ensure that GECCU operates with the highest ethical standards, preserving the financial security and well-being of our entire community. We want to take this opportunity to reflect on and celebrate the tremendous contributions of all staff. Forgive me if I say a little bit more here, but the staff members have worked tirelessly for the past 6 decades. This celebration that we have now is not just of longevity, but it is of dedication and an unwavering belief in the credit union movement that have sustained and propelled GECCU to become the hope, the beacon of hope that it is. To every staff member, past and present, who has served this institution, we honor and we thank you. You, like successive boards and other volunteers and members, believed in the philosophy of the credit union movement. The belief that we are more than just a financial institution. You also saw this as a mission, a purpose-driven endeavor where we work to uplift and support our members through every season of life. This belief has been the cornerstone of your loyalty. You understood a lot of times that this was not just a job. It was a calling. You know what is a calling? A calling is a job worth doing. Like our successive boards, committee members and volunteers, your discipline, empathy, and compassion for our members were pillars on which we built relationship and trust. I will be the first to say that we were not perfect. However, it is through your respect for our membership that GECCU has earned the confidence and trust of those we serve, creating a foundation that has lasted 6 remarkable decades. Through your hard work and under the leadership of our visionary boards and volunteers, you have done your part in carrying this institution forward. You endured long hours, moments of sacrifice, and sometimes of personal pain, always ensuring that our members were served with excellence. You remember the volcano? You remember the pandemic? We moved from office to office as we outgrew our spaces, adjusting to each new location so we could better accommodate the growing needs of our membership. These transitions from office to office were not without their challenges, but our resilience, adaptability, and commitment made each move possible. You embrace the discomfort and the inconvenience with grace and a shared vision of growth. Many of you soldiered on with GECCU, even when there were more lucrative opportunities elsewhere. I know that for a fact. Your dedication was not measured by a paycheck, but by the belief that you were building something greater, that we were building a community, we were building this gem. For that, we are deeply grateful. To each member, volunteer stakeholders who were with GECCU for a short while or for many years, we say thank you. Thank you for the many hours you have put in, the sacrifices you have made. You exemplify the spirit of our own, the late brother Charles McIntosh, in whom this lecture, whose name this lecture is dedicated. You, our dear members, have stood by us through every triumph and challenge. And it is your belief in this institution that has allowed us to become the gem we proudly call GECCU today. Finally, the gem we have created together is truly your gem, our gem. May the light of your work continue to shine brightly for generations to come. May God continue to bless us all and this amazing gem which we continue to build together. Thank you very much for your attention.
Well done, Mr. Bowman. Thank you very much. A round of applause for Mr. Bowman. Mr. Bowman, do not sit as yet. We have a small token of our appreciation, and I will call Mrs. Johnny to present to our dear former CEO a token of our appreciation for that lecture. Mr. Bowman, I told you not to sit. Mr. Bowman has a lot of things in his house, but I know he will keep this one. I know he will. All right, thank you. Alas, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for joining us this evening, but before we end, I crave your indulgence for a few more minutes just to say a few thank yous. Thank you to Sister Keisha, our chaplain. That is our chaplain, our dedicated chaplain in GECCU, for your prayer. To our speakers, Mrs. Johnny, our CEO, Mr. Sayers, our president. Thank you for those opening remarks. To Zara McIntosh, thank you for attending and for allowing us to honor the memory of your father. And to your mom, somebody sent me something on the phone, and she is indeed listening, and she says thank you to all of us for honoring her husband. That meant a lot. So thank you, Mrs. McIntosh. To Saeed, thank you for your beautiful rendition of the national anthem and the special song. Thank you to all of you present, the past presidents especially, those of you who are with us today, this evening. Thank you for steering the ship over those many decades. Thanks to our sister credit unions and our stakeholders, our volunteers and committee members, past and present. To Mr. Lennox Bowman, thank you for that thought-provoking lecture, for providing us with a roadmap of our history. We know it is very important. We can deduce that Mr. Bowman is very bashful, right? And he never once tried to upsell himself, but we know that he has made significant contributions to this gem we call GECCU. I cannot go in my archives without finding a picture of Lennox Bowman in terms of GECCU. So thank you for your sterling leadership. But it would be remiss of me, and I have to mention this. I believe that Mrs. Alicia Ashton Doyle is Mr. Bowman's forever secretary. Although she is Mrs. Johnny's secretary, I feel like Alicia is Mr. Bowman's forever secretary. She just stepped out. But, oh, she's right there. All right. And Mrs. Johnny, don't be afraid. He just borrowed her for the entire week, right? To get his thoughts together. But Alicia, thank you. Thank you for your programs, your creativity. We want to thank you for your hard work. To our staff, special mention to my junior, Mr. Asif Bailey. You know he's going to take out some phenomenal photos. He was under the weather yesterday. He wasn't even at work, but he medicated, as he said. And I told him he had to come to work today so that I wouldn't die. But thank you, Asif, and thank you, Simeon, for your videography. For our staff members from Georgetown, they're in the back. Thank you. Thank you for your turnout. Thank you for being here. And I know it's time for us to go. Thanks to all our staff members in Kingston and everybody who is here. For those of you listening, thank you very much. To anyone who contributed in any, oh yes, for the UWI Global Campus, thank you, Dr. Reese, Sister Reese, that I just call her. I do call her that now. Yeah, she is our own. She is a product of GECCU, our former scholar. I would not sit here because she will give me a laser beam. She will give me a death stare. Thank you. To anyone who contributed in any way to the success of this evening that I may have inadvertently omitted, I want to thank you very much. Thanks to our online listeners. Let's continue to build this gem we call GECCU. I will now like to welcome back Saeed Bowman to serenade us as we bring the broadcast to a close. So happy Independence to all. Have a good evening. There are refreshments available from here. Thank you. All right.
GECCU is making home ownership easier for its members with the Peters Hope Affordable Housing Project. Live the dream. Dream number 1. Land only with lowered land loan rates and discounts. Live the dream. Dream number 2. Add-ons to encourage home construction. These add-ons are based on floor space and the members' income brackets with increased savings options, competitive rates as low as 5%, reduced fees, and top-up share savings. All packages can be customized to meet individual needs. Live the dream. These offers are only available to GECCU members who are first-time homeowners. So, partner with GECCU and live the dream.
Discover the enchanting GECCU River 14 Recreational Park, a hidden gem nestled in the heart of South Rivers. Looking to celebrate a special occasion such as a wedding or wedding reception, our versatile pavilion and open space is the ideal venue for your memorable events. Or capture the full River 14 experience by booking the entire compound, unlocking a world of enjoyment for you and your guests. River 14 is more than just a location. It's a paradise for all ages, offering everything from tranquil relaxation to joyful celebrations. Reserve your spot at GECCU's River 14 now, where every moment is an opportunity to create lasting memories.